Hello, good morning, and welcome to Morning Motivation Show with Solomon Okeke. I am so glad that you're here, and of course, I am sure that you're going to learn things that are capable of changing your life forever. That is if you put them into practice, because I always place premium on action. Whatever you learn, if you don't put them into work, they're not going to work for you. Very, very important. Alright, since this week we've been talking about love, and we started with talking about how loving people is loving God, and yesterday we started a new series, and we are talking about the three kinds of love that will always change the world. And it's been a powerful series, and yesterday I talked about love for God. And so many response has come to me as a result of that broadcast, and very tremendous responses. Today we are going to be talking about the second kind of love. Now, some people would want to guess, and if I ask them now, what is the second kind of love that changes the world? Since we've talked about love for God, they would love to say, love for people, like loving people. Some people have that formula as God first, others second, and you being the last. Now, it's contextual. It could work in some places, but it doesn't really work in some places. That's why I said it's contextual. There are places where God comes first and people follow. But there are places where God comes first, then you follow, because if you are not alive and healthy, you cannot be able to give to people, because you cannot give what you don't have. If you are not alive, healthy, and have a sense of being, then you cannot be able to give same to people. So the second kind of love that changes the world is love for yourself. It's not selfishness when you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you cannot love people effectively. Why did I say that? An overflow of the love you have for yourself that can transmit to people. It is when you love yourself that you can be able to give to people, show people love. Now, if you are dying in depression, if you are dying with low self-esteem, you cannot be able to give people enough love. So you have to work on yourself. If you're not healthy, you're suffering from one sickness or the other, you cannot help people with advice on how to stay safe. And that's a kind of love, showing them love, giving them safety, because in you are still thinking, I'm not healthy, so what am I going to tell them? I have a friend of mine who was on a challenge with us on Facebook. We were doing a content creation challenge. She later dropped out of the challenge because she was finding it difficult that this thing she's writing every day, inspiring people, her life is not inspired. So she has to drop out of the challenge and went and fixed her life. Now, this is applicable to anybody. You need to first of all love yourself enough before you can be able to love others. So that has given you a clue already into what I'll be discussing tomorrow. I want to share with you some of the tips on how you could love yourself. Give the whole dose, like be selfish with your love. Some people call it self-love, or they call it self-crush. Whichever one you want to call it, just ensure that you love yourself adequately. Give the best to yourself. Proper attention to your health. And then you're going to have the reward, and that reward will now overflow to get into others. Let me share with you a few of the tips. One is that you have to believe in yourself. You cannot develop who you don't believe in. You cannot develop what you don't believe in. So if you don't believe in yourself, then personal development becomes a problem. There is no how you can develop yourself effectively if you don't believe in yourself. So you have to believe in yourself. If People have told you that you cannot achieve, you cannot amount to anything. It's time to tell yourself that I can amount to everything I want to amount to. If people have said some things that has changed your mentality to a negative perspective, it's time for you to tell yourself, I'm not that person they said they are. I am who God says I am. And I stand by God's promises upon my life. See yourself from a place of victory and not a place of failure, not a place of mediocrity. It is when you're able to see yourself in that realm that you'll be able to effectively show yourself love. You have to accept your mistakes. People make mistakes, yes. Everybody makes mistakes. But the difference between people who succeed and who fail is that the other people who fail, they take their mistake as part of their lives. So they dwell on their mistake. They incubate on it. They hatch on their mistakes. And those people who succeed see their mistakes as one way not to do something. One way you can go and you not become successful. So when they do all those mistakes, they still rise up and mount on their wings and still become success. Because they've seen a way what's one thing they should not do if they want to become successful. So they move on with their lives. That doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes. Their mistakes may even be a kind of risky kind of mistake, but they don't see it as something that has come to kill them. I also would advise that if you want to love yourself effectively, you've got to have a sharp mouth. Yes. And your sharp mouth is not for insult. It's not to insult people. No, it's a kind of mouth that will help you to reject every negativism that people have placed on your head. When they say you're not going to succeed, you'll be quick to tell them that you're going to succeed. Because when you start internalizing that you're not going to succeed, it becomes part of you, it forms your mentality, and it drives you. Your thoughts control virtually everything about you. So it's also important that you take care of your health. You see, if you're in the hospital, you cannot make impact. If you're in the hospital, the whole of your prayers would be, Father Lord, please help me to come out of the hospital. Yes. And sometimes people go to the hospital and they are admitted and they stay there a whole lot of time because they were not able to pay attention to their health. So I want to encourage you. You want to love yourself. You want to show yourself love. Take care of your health. Sometimes you need to rest. Sometimes you need to go on checkup. Sometimes you run periodic medical tests to know if there is anything wrong with you. Sometimes you need to distress yourself, deworm yourself, check your pulses, check your high blood pressure and all that. And take out time to rest. Take yourself out to somewhere that is happening in the town and enjoy yourself. You are not going to die if you enjoy yourself. That's it for today, and I'm glad you listened. Please, I would love to have your comments, your contributions, and if you have any question, please kindly put the questions on the comment box, or you could send me a mail. I love you from the depths of my heart. See you tomorrow.